Hello and welcome to Bakinglady tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to make the funkiest little chickens for Easter, or alternatively you could make them for a hen party. In England, just before a lady gets married, she has a hen party to celebrate. I know in America and in other countries they have a bachelorette party, but here in England we have a hen party. So I'm going to be making these for my friend's hen party, and they're really cool and they're really funky and very, very easy to make. So all you need to use is a small rolling pin, a fluted cutter, a small cutting circle. I'm using a nozzle because it's the easiest and the smallest size I need. I've got a small knife, and then I've got some boiled water and a small paintbrush, apricot jam and a brush to brush it on with. And the ingredients that you'll need are a cupcake or a muffin and a cookie, and then you'll also need some icing, some white, some yellow, some black and some pink icing as well, which I'm going to be using to cover and use the feathers. So these are the things that you need, and anybody can make these. They are so simple. So you start by taking the paper off of your cupcake, using a little of your apricot jam to put your cake onto your cookie or your biscuit. Simple as that. And then the next thing that you need to do is you need to roll out some of your pink icing. I've already started with mine. So roll it out until it's nice and thin. You don't want to go too thick. And then you're going to cut out, using your nozzle, some circles. Just like that. You want quite a few of them, and these will make the feathers. Okay. As soon as you've cut out all your feathers, what you need to do is you need to brush your cake with some of the jam. I like to take my cupcake out of its paper about 10 or so minutes before I want to do this, so that it has a chance to dry, and then the apricot jam and the icing stick a lot better and you don't lose all the crumbs. So just glue, using your apricot jam all the way around. Nice and quick, nice and simple. Okay, once you've done that, then you can start to stick your circles. And sticking the circles is so easy. All you have to do is start from the bottom, place one on, and then just overlap them. Just like that. And because your cake is on a cookie or a biscuit, it's so much easier to turn. So just use your circles to stick all the way around. As soon as you've gone all the way around, your next layer goes above, and all you're doing is just overlapping them, just very, very slightly, just like that. Okay, and you want to do this all the way around your cake, overlapping and coming all the way around. Okay, just like that. Once you've got all the way round, you should end up with your cupcake looking like this. You need to leave a hole at the top, and this is where your frill is going to go for the top of your chicken. So just leave a little hole, and as you can see I've just gone all the way around, overlapping my petals so that the whole cake is covered, just like that. And that's all you need to do. So the next part of your chicken, if I remove all this excess icing, is to use some of your white. Use a little bit of icing sugar to dust to stop it sticking. You don't need a huge amount. Try and use as little as possible. And you're going to cut out 3 circles in your white. You want them a little bit thicker, the icing, than you did with the little circles. And you're going to use your cutter for this. So you need 3 circles using the fluted side. Okay, remove any excess icing sugar on the top and cut out 3 circles. And then you can remove the excess icing. Okay. Out of one of your circles, you need to cut this into 2 semicircles. 1, 2, and remove the little bit in the middle so that you've got 2 wings and then 2 of the smaller pieces as well. Okay. Now if I just get rid of these for you, my cake's back. I'm going to try and do this upside down so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You need to cut through the icing into the centre, just going round and round to make your feathers on your wings, using the little fluted bits, and then using some of your water, dab onto the back, and this goes towards the front and you'll stick it on. And again on the other side, all the way around into the centre, but not meeting up in the middle. Just make sure that you cut all the way through, just like that. A little bit of water on the back. This is boiled water. Never ever use water straight out of the tap. You need to make sure that the water is sterile and that will be out of the kettle, so it's boiled. Okay, just like that. Then you can put your top part on. So I've got my second circle, a little bit of water, and stick that on the top like that. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is you need to do the head, and the head is just a small piece of icing. Let me just move my funky chicken out of the way. I'm using a ball, probably about the size of, just smaller than a golf ball. So into a nice round ball, just like that. And once you've got a ball shape, a little bit of water on top of your icing, and you can stick your ball to the top. Simple as that. Okay, now using your last circle, what you need to do is you need to fold it in half, and then you're going to cut all the way through, almost to the centre, just like that. Turn it over, a little dab of water on the back, and this is for your tail, so this goes at the back of your funky chicken, and that just sticks in place, just like that. Alright, and tidy it up, separate the feathers out so that when she turns around again she's got her tail feathers. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is her eyes. These are 2 balls, smaller than a small marble. They will easily fit onto a 1p or 1c piece. So 2 small balls. Make sure that they are the same size. Mine are just about the same size. That one's probably a little bit bigger. So I'll take that off. So I've got my 2 balls. And then you need to use some of the black icing. So I've got some of my black icing here. And you need to make 2 very small balls, probably about the size of a very small pea or a petit pois. Maybe a little tiny bit smaller. So 2 small balls. A little bit of my boiled water again on the top. And put the pupils on the centre and just use your finger to squash them down a little bit so that they stick properly. Just like that. Okay. What I like to do is I like to cut out a little bit of white, or you can make two teeny tiny little balls just to make pupils. So if you get a bit of icing, roll it out and using your nozzle, cut it out and stick it on the top. You'll need a little bit of water for this, just to help it stick. It gives it a little bit of life is all. So tiny little bit of mirror in the middle of the pupil. And another one. And that goes in the centre there as well. And then these eyes can go on. So we're going to put them on the top of her head. One eye on. And the second one. Just like that. The next part we need to do is the beak, and the beak is using some of the yellow, and all you need to do is, it's about the same size as the eye, into a small ball, and then you need to shape it into an ice cream cone shape. And the easiest way of doing this is to just use your fingers, if they're sticking as mine are. Just use a little bit of ice and sugar. So into a ball and then to a cone shape, and then squash it using your fingers into a cone shape and elongate it just very slightly. If you then tip it on its side, just like that, and cut all the way through, it forms the beak. Okay. A little bit of water, and this goes directly underneath the eyes. And I like to use a nozzle by opening up my beak very slightly and just pushing through, just to make sure that it holds in place, and it gives it a bit more life as well. Okay, make sure that looks really tidy. And then what you need to do next is make a little tiny tongue. So I use a little bit of pink, very small ball, just that big. And then if you roll it out into a sausagey shape, just like that, you can put that inside her mouth. So she's got a tongue. And then you'll need another small piece to make the bit underneath her throat. I never know what that bit's called. The dangly bit, that's what I'm going to call it. So into a ball, and then into a bit of a teardrop shape as well. And then touch underneath the water and stick that little bit on. You have to excuse me, I'm doing this upside down and back to front, so I can't really see what I'm doing, which is quite difficult. Now, the very, very last bit is the little frilly bit on top of her head. Yet again, I don't know what that's called. So, you want a nice circle, a ball, about the same size. And then you're going to make it yet again into a teardrop shape. So just use your finger to thin it out. And then if you put it onto your board, cut through one way and then cut through the bottom in half again, like that. So you've got 3 bits. Turn it over and cut through again. This makes the crested bit. I'm going to say crest. I don't think it's called that at all, but it just makes a crested bit. And then this goes just between her eyes. Makes her look very pretty. And there you have it. Your funky chicken. She can join her sisters. All girls together. How fantastic do they look? Happy baking, and please come back again for some more free tutorials, and you'll find all the information for lots of other recipes and tips and tricks on my website, which is www.bakinglady.webs.com. Happy baking, and thanks for watching.